Somebody brought up a good point in my last video. I want to read it because I got a couple things to say. Davy Jones says, I'm just curious, how long has it been since your body's been completely detoxed of all prescription meds? 4 years, by the way. Do you think that it might be a good idea, like a total reset? I know your body chemistry changes as you get older. Your deodorant stops working for you. We enjoy different foods when we reach adulthood. And your mental tolerances for different situations changes drastically as we gain life experience. Do you think there's a possibility that your body has adapted and you may be experiencing a condition that is caused by the fact that the entire issue with your meds may have been stemming from a prescription interaction that was creating symptoms that were greater than the actual issue? Well, my last video I was talking about the fact that while Adderall worked for my ADHD, it was causing really bad anxiety. So there's a lot of yes and no's in that answer. So I've been considering doing a factory reset, is what I keep calling it, to go off of all of the medications in order to establish a baseline. But there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad that can come from that. Alright, so the reasons to go on, or to have a factory reset are, there's a detox / withdrawal period after coming off each med that has bad psychological effects. An example, the withdrawals from the Tegretol was causing all sorts of physical withdrawal effects. That's the most extreme case, but I had the hand movements, the stutter, it was a wreck. Coming off of, I took Wellbutrin for 1 day, and then coming off of Wellbutrin, I hit, like, I could feel, like, the next day or two, the depression hit really hard. I was on Wellbutrin for 2 days. So, each medication I go off of, there's a negative side effect. Tegretol being the fact that I was on that for almost 4 years and went off of that so quick, like was taken off of it too quick, was really, really, really bad and extreme, and the withdrawals for that lasted over a month. Most of the other medications I'm come off of, the withdrawals don't last more than like a week to like a day or two, which is lucky. But when I'm going off these medications, I'm usually going on to something new. That's where the other one, this usually coincides with me going on to a new medication, and there's difficult overlap that blurs the lines of what is causing the symptoms. So is me going off of one medication causing my issues, or are these issues that are part of the disorder? It gets very, very complicated, and it's hard to gauge whether a new medication is working or not, because now I'm dealing with a set of symptoms that could clear up in a couple of days, or are back because I went off of said medication. It's so, like, twisty all over the place. It becomes really hard to analyze what's what. So that's one of the reasons to do a factory reset, is so when I introduce a medication, I can better gauge what it's actually doing, and if that medication doesn't work, go off of it, take that time to detox from it, and before I introduce another one, get back to my baseline. I will also be able to better determine the medication's effectiveness, because I won't be dealing with a possibility of, going off medication causing one thing, causing the other. Well, here's the other problem. Well, I'll get to this. It'll allow me to give myself a break, because this is getting all very confusing. I'm staying on top of it, but it's a lot. And to give my brain a rest, just to be able to kind of be like, whatever symptoms I'm experiencing are because I'm bipolar. It's not a medication, it's not this and that, and now it's time to treat it. So those are reasons for a factory reset. I'm kind of biased against it for myself. Once again, not everybody, this is just for me, but for myself, because y'all be going off bipolar medication. I feel like that's kind of a strong argument as to why I should not do a factory reset. Another reason, I'm currently going through a depressive episode, and if that's left unchecked, it will keep me in bed for weeks, possibly a month or more. Regular tasks won't get finished or accomplished. Things like applying for, finish applying for disability. I won't be able to do that. I tend to lash out more whenever I'm unmedicated. When I'm medicated, regardless of how complicated it is, I'm able to kind of reel it in enough. When I'm unmedicated, I lash out at others, which is something that I dread the most. So that's kind of always keeps like a big motivation for me taking my medication. There's no way to determine how long it would take in order to reset my brain or get, establish that baseline. It could take a month. It could take 3 months. Who knows after everything that's going on. And I also wouldn't know when everything was set. It's not like I go off the medications and then my brain levels out to normal and then I can go figure out what medications I need. Because here's the thing is I go off the medication, if everything's like this and I go off the medication, it goes like this. So it gets worse and it would be very difficult to establish when I was detoxed enough in order to get back on medication, because I'd need to be on medication. Simple and necessary tasks won't get done. They just won't. Between the depressive episode and possible other issues, like things just won't get done, which is not good. I will have a higher probability of a hospitalization, and the reason for that is I have a higher chance of a manic episode. Mania is a drug, and it does not want it self-regulated. When you're depressed, you're like, I'm depressed, I don't feel good, this is bad. Bad needs help. Mania feels good. It's like cocaine and ecstasy and the perfect level of drunk. It's all of these things, and it's hard to reel mania or hypomania back in, because when you feel good, why would something be wrong? That doesn't make any sense. You don't go to the doctor whenever you're having a good day, but with bipolar disorder, you do need to go to the doctor if your day is feeling too good, because that's the other opposite end of the bipolar disorder. We all know the depression, but then you have the hypomania and the mania. So you can, go up here. What's wrong with this? You lose the concept of foresight. You lose the concept of hindsight. You start making impulsive decisions. You can spend all of your money. You can have promiscuous sex. Some of these apply to me, some of these don't. You can make really bad decisions, I'll wake up and be like, let's have a baby, and I'll rip my IUD out. IUD, not IED. Yes, IUD out, which wouldn't actually happen, but hypothetically, you aren't thinking properly. Let's see, what else? Biggest problem with mania is there's a crash. So the higher you go, the harder you crash. And also, if I go into full-blown mania, chances, it gets bad. It gets real bad. So I try to avoid that, and I'm more prone to mania than depression. So without medication, there's a higher chance I can hit a manic episode. And that's scary. It's really scary, guys. I'm not fucking around when I say that. Symptoms can get so bad that a medication barely doing anything can feel like a world of relief and cause me to settle for a lower level of functional. So if I'm off my meds and I am losing my fucking mind, which is pretty much guaranteed to happen, I could take something and it could decrease everything 15%. And only that 15% decrease can feel like a lifesaver, but I'm still not getting things done properly. I'm not at a functioning level. I'm at a level to where I just don't want to kill myself anymore. And so sometimes I have a bad habit of being like, okay, well then this is good and I'll settle for that. And I'm afraid of that for some reason. So what else is there? Yeah, I've only been on medications for 4 years. It's not really long enough to lose touch with who I was before medication and therapy. And I do understand that through life experiences, we handle things better without the, we don't need medication because you learn to handle things better. You have to remember, we're dealing with bipolar disorder. This isn't a matter of just being able to handle it, which I can, and I'm in therapy, and I've been going to therapy, and I'm always learning self-management skills, but it's not a matter of I would need a different medication because I've learned to manage it better, because you got to remember, this is a disorder. This isn't just me not handling life well, or me still learning how life works. This is a disorder. My body chemistry hasn't changed very much since 30 to 34 years old. I'm kind of like in that phase where like I've kind of gone through second puberty, and like my metabolism slowed down a bit. So still pretty much the same as far as the past like 4 years as far as body chemistry goes. Some medications have caused bad symptoms, mostly lithium. Others worked for a while, but either stopped or the side effects became too overwhelming. That's the reason there's been all these medication switches lately, because with bipolar disorder, generally what happens is you got to trial and error until you find the right medication or combination that works, and you can kind of just pretty much coast that out. But your body does change, and it can become immune to these things, but right now we're just trying to find what works, because my body, the Tegretol became too much as far as side effects, and it was doing an okay job at managing my bipolar disorder. It goes back to that where I was so bad off that relief from it made, I became more functional, and I thought, that's it, I found the right medication, like I'm set, I'm good. But it actually was kind of like the first stepping stone, and then the medication, I wouldn't say it stopped working as much as my self-management skills got good enough to recognize that this medication did an okay job. It didn't do the job. So that's pretty much an answer to Senior Davy Jones. Let me double check the question again real quick. Possibility the body has adapted and you experience a condition that is caused by the fact that the entire issue with your meds may be stemming from a prescription interaction. Yeah, all of this is prescription interactions. Like, when these medications don't work, it's because we're not finding the right one that works for my brain. It's all trial and error. And that's the thing, is like, I want to do a factory reset because I'm just overwhelmed. I really am. But that factory reset isn't going to help this trial and error process anymore. And it sucks going on, coming off, going on, coming off, and the coming off, there's bad side effects from that as well. But the thing is this trial and error, we're basically got to kind of hustle through it in order to find what does work. Because if something is working, once the bad side effects from going off another medication fades away, that medication's only going to shine brighter. So I've been thinking about doing a factory reset, but I know in my heart of hearts that's a really bad fucking idea. So probably not going to do it.